A little bit about some of the damage you guys saw during the hailstorm the other day.
So, and the hardest to see, I think, was the flower beds. You know, just the plants were looking just really nice, a lot of blooms and all of that, and then they're just taken down to sticks or less now. So that was the hardest part. But then we also had, all kinds of hail damage, had some windows knocked out and pock marks on all of our fences and on the building and that sort of thing as well.
And so talk to me a little bit about the damage you guys saw to your plants. How does that impact you?
So one of the biggest things that we try to do is have a lot of our plants that we sell, perennials that we sell, have them planted out in our demo beds, and so that people can see them. And then people walk in the gate and see something blooming, and it's like, oh, I want that. And now it's not going to be blooming for a while, so that's going to make it harder to sell some of my plants as far as that goes, because you see a penstemon blooming here or there, a salvia, and a bright red or whatever it is just really catches your eye and you're drawn to it. And so now we won't have that.
And so talk to me a little bit about, I know we've seen a lot of damage around town and everything like that. So talk to me a little bit about just kind of seeing that damage here in Canyon and just seeing kind of how the storm has impacted, Canyon, and not just this hailstorm, but I mean, there's been a lot of storms that have rolled through Canyon. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so what was it, 6 weeks ago? Well, no, just a couple of weeks ago, we had just a smaller hailstorm. And so we had some plants stripped off there and, a little bit of damage as far as that goes. And then we had the wind on that Friday that was just really tough and, messed with us a little bit. But then this storm was definitely much worse, knocking out windows and that sort of thing. And drove up on the square yesterday coming in there, and it was just a carpet of green on the pavement, But then it's also, it's nice to see all the people out and about cleaning their yards or cleaning their businesses up, had their families out here cleaning up on the corner, just, having at it. So we don't think it'll take long to bounce back and everything all be good again just pretty quick.
So you as a business owner, again, how does this, affect your bottom line when it comes to, these storms like this and getting hail damage like this? How does that affect you?
It will a little bit, but the plants that we have on our benches, we're covered with pergolas here, and then we have hail cloth over the plants that we sell. And so the plants that we sell are, for the most part, really good, except those on the west side. Those took a beating because it was coming in nearly horizontal, it seems like. But overall, I don't think it will hurt me too much. The heavy spring rush was already over, so we're kind of coming into the summertime, and just people, just people adding a few more plants here and there. So I don't think it will affect my bottom line just a whole lot. And then on the plus side, I think, our demo beds being perennials, it will be interesting to show people how these come back, So if you come back here in, 4 to 6 weeks, I would expect to see just a whole lot of blooms and everything going again. So to me, that's a positive for our plants. We've had it. I haven't seen it in my yards, in our beds here. We haven't had a hailstorm like this, but I've seen it before in other gardens, and in 6 weeks, a couple of months, everything's just looks fresh again. So I don't think it'll affect my bottom line much.
And so, this is something we've talked to, before with other storms and stuff like this. What does it mean for the people of Canyon to, again, like you kind of mentioned, come together and kind of help one another during these storms, during this hailstorm and then other storms?
Yeah. So, no, I think it makes us feel good as a community, as a town. That people will come out and help. You read on Facebook, people needing a little bit of help or something, and it seems like people will jump right in and go visit, go help an elderly person who, can't board up their windows themselves and that sort of thing. But no, just the community coming out, and you drive down. We were cleaning up at my wife's office, and just down the street, it was just lined with people, helping. It wasn't just the homeowners out there, it was the neighbors coming down and helping. So to me, it's a really nice thing about living in Canyon.